Charlie Duffy knows she has power. You see it here and here. You really see the Phoenix 15-year-old use it here.
I want to tell you a little bit about yourself and why you're here speaking.
I think being vulnerable is hard, but also being vulnerable can inspire people. Like your hero, the only reason they're your hero is because they're vulnerable to share their story.
Charlie's hero story starts when she was 2. She could walk, but no hopping, skipping, jumping. Doctors diagnosed her with cerebral palsy.
Initially, we were just overwhelmed with questions and concerns and just probably fear, a lot of fear of not knowing anything about it.
At United Cerebral Palsy, the Duffy family learned CP is a motor disability affecting movement.
Whoa.
For Charlie, it's the entire left side of her body.
I would just run with one arm.
Big step.
She started physical therapy immediately, and a life of medical procedures began.
She comes in spunky, she was up for the challenge, she had the drive, it was internal. It was internal. Like, I'm not gonna let this stop me.
She didn't. To keep her foot from turning in, Charlie wore a cast or brace on her left leg all throughout childhood, including while playing sports.
And parents would be like, your daughter's in a cast, she's not broken. It was never a reason not to do something.
I'm the only person at school that wore them. But I was like, I'm the only person at school that wears these. God made you different for a reason, and it's cool.
Charlie never felt embarrassed, never complained, never made excuses.
I would just be like, it doesn't matter what I have. I'm still Charlie. Like, my personality, it didn't change my personality at all.
Softball was always Charlie's main love, and she grew into quite the player. By the time she reached Northwest Christian High School and made varsity as a freshman, no casual observer could even tell anything was wrong.
It's kind of like a hidden secret in my pocket that I'll just throw at some people and they'll be like, what?
Watching her play, how do you describe what she's like out there?
Fierce, like she wants to prove that she deserves to be out there and everything that she's been through is worth it.
But by the end of this season, this past spring, Charlie in such pain, her left leg so tight, she would need to undergo major surgery for the second time in her life. Her Achilles and hamstring cut and lengthened. Her femur cut in half and rotated.
Now that I'm older, I knew the recovery process, and it crossed my mind like it's going to be a long time before I could play again, and it's going to be scary, but I think everything's scary, and you have to overcome the fear if you really love it.
Last month, Charlie watching her club team, the Killer Bees, practice from a wheelchair.
Daddy, babe!
Even sidelined though, finding ways to work on her game.
It's crossed my mind that it's super easy to quit, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep working harder.
Did that take some weight off your legs a little bit?
Yeah.
Now, just last week, Charlie back at UCP, back on her feet, basically learning to walk all over again, with a college scholarship and the bigger picture still on this rising sophomore's mind.
If I play at the next level, I can be more of an advocate to people with disabilities. Like, if I'm up here doing this, like, so can you.
She shines so bright. And she's gonna change the world.
Vulnerability was never a weakness.
I love sharing my story because it's cool to, like, firsthand inspire people.
In Charlie Duffy's own words, that's how every hero began.
I have a disability, so they would call it, but I don't think anybody with a disability, like, visibly or not, it doesn't define you as a person. It's just a part of your story.